Welcome to this beginner and intermediate lesson on how to play the Wildwood flower. Over the next 12 minutes or so, we're going to learn the beginner melody, which sounds a bit like this. And then we're going to discuss all the things you need to do as an intermediate player to improve melodies, make them more interesting and more appropriate for your standard, and that will sound a bit like this. Before we start the lesson, I should mention that everything we talk about is included on a free PDF, which is linked in the description below, so make sure you have that in front of you before we start. The first thing we need to do is learn the melody. This is aimed at beginners, so intermediates feel free to skip ahead, but it's useful to make sure we're all playing the same thing. So we're in the key of C, no sharps, no flats. And I'm just going to dive in and play the melody. I'm not going to go through it bit by bit because it's quite a simple melody. There's no upstrokes for beginner players. It's just all downstrokes. Everything's on the beat and nothing too complicated. Hopefully a nice little melody you can get under your fingers quite quickly. So I'll put the metronome on just to keep me in time. I'll overdub a guitar so you can hear it with the chords playing. And after 2, that's the count. 1, 2. The chords for that melody, again, not too difficult. So if you are an absolute beginner player, these are the 3 chords you should try. So the simple C, 0, 2, 3. The same shape for G. C7, this is a useful one to go. So if you play your C, your middle finger moves across to the 3rd fret and your ring finger tucks in where that was. So 3, 2, 3 is your C7. And then F. There's 2 F options depending on what your fingers prefer. Some people prefer just to take the C chord and move it across. So 2, 3, 0. I prefer a slightly different one, which is 5, 3, 0. I slightly prefer how that sounds, but any of those are fine. Rhythm-wise, if you're new to playing chords, this is quite a simple bluegrass song, so nothing complicated. Just either a nice bass and strum, or you can add some upstrokes around the 2nd strum in the bar. So the first half of the bar is a bass and strum, and then some upstrokes later on. I normally go for what I call option 2 in the PDF. So your starting point is bass and strum. Option 1 is just adding 1 upstroke. Or option 2 is 2 upstrokes. To finish the beginner section of this video, let's now have a jam of the song. So I'm going to play it twice through with the metronome, same speed. The first time through I'm going to play the melody again. Second time through I'm going to play the chords. And while you're learning it, feel free to do the same as me. Second time through, try and do the opposite of me. So when I'm playing the melody, you're playing the chords. And when I'm playing the chords, you're playing the melody to simulate a proper jam session. I'll have the guitar playing in the background as well, just overdubbed, so you can hear both in context. And so here we go. Let's have a beginner jam through the Wildwood flower twice through. 1, 2. Now we've established our beginner kind of core melody and core chords, we can look at what intermediate players should be doing with simple little melodies like that. Because as pretty as it is, we can do more with it when we progress on the mandolin. So I'm going to take you through a few of the little trills you can add, and you can take this away. You can pick and choose what you like. This is sort of becomes personal opinion quite quickly. So again, this is all tabbed out in the PDF below. But I'll just take you through a few of the main points. So bar 2, very simple thing. Instead of going straight to the E, or the 2nd fret, there's a little line going into it, which means you slide in from the fret below. So from the start, so you get that sound. And how quick you do it is up to you. So you could go really quick slide, or you could really milk it. That's up to you. Bar 3. So this is one of my main points of the video. As soon as you have a melody that is an open string, you should automatically think about whether you can make that melody more interesting using the 7th fret on the string below, because the 7th fret on the string below is the same as the open string. So rather than just going for 2 beats, you could go on beat 1 and then slide into the same note on beat 2. And then just at the end of that bar, instead of just the 2 notes, I've kind of filled in around those notes. Still kind of gets us to the same place. So I've sort of filled in the gap, slightly altered it, but we still have the melody that there at the start of the bar and there at the next bar. So that 3rd bar now sounds like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that really important. Sort of, I'm sliding 5 to 7 there. And that is so common. We're going to do it again in the chorus. Such a useful little embellishment we can do on the mandolin, which is melodies on open strings. Don't forget the 7th fret is also the same note, so we can slide into it. We can double the note up, everything like that. And then just to finish this opening phrase, instead of just there's a long note there, which again you could tremolo, it's an option, but sometimes it's nice to sort of bring in the chord to fill in the gap. So I've just brought in the C chord. Essentially a strumming pattern with a changing bass note, just to fill the gap. I always do that because that note's got to last 6 beats, which on the mandolin is not very easy to do. So that opening phrase, let's play from the top, just that opening 4 lines. After 2, 1, 2, slide, slide. Let's do it again. 1, 2. If we then jump ahead to the chorus. So your melody now is, and again, you should always be thinking, can I do that melody somewhere else on the fretboard to open up some open strings as a drone? So we can, in this instance, instead of having the melody on open E, we can have the melody on the 7th fret. So we move the whole melody onto the A string, which opens up the E, because we're in a C chord at the moment. So when we're doing embellishments, generally we want to add another note from the chord. So in this instance, if our melody's over a C chord, we can drone an E, because the E is one of the C arpeggio notes. So we've got a slide in. So just that simple melody from going now becomes, you're almost creating like a fiddle drone with that E string. And one thing to watch out for, which I've taught this a few times, and the trap that everyone falls into, they do that 5 to 7 slide, and then they come back in on an up. The 5 to 7 slide replaces the upstroke. down, slide, down. So if you watch my right hand, so that, remember the note after the slide comes on a down. Down, slide, down, up, down. That's notated on the PDF, but really, really important. So let's just try that phrase round a few times with the 2 pickup notes from the end of the verse. 1, 2. And again, 1, 2. One more time for a good look. 1, 2. And then I haven't done much to the next phrase. Just again, a little blues slide in. There. So that's everything. There's a few elements going on there. The main things I want you to take away from this are that little slides into notes never go amiss. As soon as you have a melody note that's on an open string, you should be thinking, can I convert it into a 7th fret so I can slide into it? Or can I do both? Can I do open and then the 7? Because that keeps the same melody. And then when you've got big gaps to fill, yes, we can do tremolo, but we can do chord fills, like chord rhythm fills. So let's play it round. Let's do it round twice, just to give you 2 goes. I'll keep the metronome at the same speed which we have all lesson. And here we go. 1, 2. That is everything I wanted to talk about in this beginner and intermediate version of the Wildwood Flower. If you feel comfortable with both those melodies, I've also linked the advanced version, which will look at some cross-picking. So please do move on to that if this has been quite comfortable for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learnt something. I hope you take the ideas away and apply them to any little melodies that you know. These principles apply across the board. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.